Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy, and I'm joined here this week by the man who hates Elden Ring, the one person on Earth who doesn't like Elden Ring. It's Mikey V. Wolf.
I didn't say I didn't. I never said I didn't like Elden Ring.
You send me a DM saying that you've seen lumps of shit that have got more style and panache, which I thought was weird because I couldn't read it. I was like, "What's panache? Is that like an ice cream topping?"
This is probably the first time in your life you've ever said panache.
I know of the word, but yeah, I don't frequent it. You know,
Oh,
my tongue does not lick
I
it.
asked, does it have a deeper story than most Soul games? And I was told, not just by you, but by other people, no. And I was just like, cool. So
what
it's a
do you mean by
gameplay thing.
deep? What do you mean by deep?
No,
'Cause,
no,
like, all the stories are deep.
do not pull that have to watch a lore video bullshit. If it's not in the movie, it doesn't count. If it's
But
not
it is
in the game,
though. It is in the game.
If it's not in the Andy, let me put it this way: Horizon Zero Dawn, all that story is in the game. How angry was I when I finished over that story?
I don't know.
I was very angry.
Well, I know how angry you were. I just don't know how the storytelling is in that game.
Better than the Souls game I've played.
Well, all of the Souls games, the idea is that you have to read the lore descriptions and kind of look around your world and kind of figure it out yourself. It's done in a very smart way. I think, obviously not playing Horizon Zero Dawn, that all the implied stuff doesn't work as well. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn storytelling is way better than the Souls games versions." I've never heard that. But it's like,
I've never heard them compared, really.
No, me neither.
Well, they're very different genres. I think, to be fair, I like for me, I like the gameplay better. I think Zero Dawn's gameplay is fantastic. It's just
is that the newest one, by the way?
No, I haven't played the newest one.
Okay.
But I think the actual gameplay in that is remarkably good. It was just, I thought the story was so badly told, and it went in some directions I thought making the machines a lot less organic feeling by the end of the story was a mistake.
Right.
I also think locking huge portions of your main story behind DLC was fucking ridiculous.
It's not a wise idea to do that.
No, hey, why we keep referencing the fact these machines are trying to kill us? Yeah, you gonna tell me why? Not
yes.
in here.
No, it's like yes. You just have to pay us £12 more, or however much the DLC is.
30 or something at the time.
Oh no.
So I'm just gonna say that's bad storytelling, and people who tell me it's not, I'm sorry. Aloy's fine as a character, but she is in a story that has very poor pacing and shows the really bad side of trying to tell a narrative with an open world game. Which is actually, I don't, look at it this way, Andy. I don't like Breath of the Wild either, because its story I think is rather garbage. And I know people think it's one of the best games of the last 10 years, but I just don't care.
It's a Zelda game.
If it's not, the story needs to, especially in something like the Souls game, where I love the aesthetic, and especially Souls game, because I just do not gel with that combat style. I just don't. It's just not me. But I never said it was shit. I just made fun of the fact the story was kind of a shit experience. From my experience of Bloodborne, anyway. Which I know people adore, but...
Yeah, Bloodborne's an amazing game. It's really good. I wouldn't say I ever go in for the story in those kind of games. I always like watching the lore videos afterwards, because it adds a lot more context to what's going on in the world. Because I'll just say I'm not smart enough to put it together, because you need you know the meme image of the guy who's looking over his shoulder with a giant board with all the bits of wire crossing each other, and he's like, it makes sense. That's what it's like to try and piece together. That's how I feel. It is to piece together a Dark Souls or Souls-like experience. It's tricky. I know George is quite good at it, but that's the power of George.
George is a living encyclopedia.
No, he's just a living book. He's like those awful movies. What was that terrible movie where the boy went to the library and got transported into...
Page Master.
That's the one, Page Master.
I always liked the dragon design in that.
I did too. I didn't like any of the books though. They were every book was creepy.
No, Patrick Stewart's book needed to die.
Which one was Patrick Stewart book?
He was a pirate.
Was he? I barely remember the pirate. I remember the Frankenstein Igor dude and the horrible fairy
Whoopi
tale
Goldberg.
lady. Oh, that was Whoopi Goldberg. Okay.
I believe that was Whoopi Goldberg, yes.
You're probably right, yeah. Page Master.
And I think it was kind of the last struggling shutter of Macaulay Culkin's career.
Oh, shit. It was Macaulay Culkin, wasn't it? Yeah. Ooh, sheesh. Oh, boy.
His last ounce of relevance.
Page Master. That was a 90s-ass movie. Holy crap. We're not here to talk about Page Master this week. We're here to talk about Transformers, Mikey, believe it or not. Welcome back as well, by the way. Mr. I Have a Life to do outside the podcast. Hi.
It was a busy week.
Well, we'll ask what you've been up to these past 2 weeks, but we're going to start off with third-party news, as usual. We've got FansHobby Toys, MB18, Energon Optimus Prime. Guess which Optimus Prime this is based off of. We've got
Optimus Prime, gone on a diet.
A little bit. He's still a little chunky, but we'll get to that. These are the uncolored prototypes. We've seen the Armada one. We knew this one was coming out, and now we see these images where he's in both modes. He's next to the previous named Naval Commander, which I'm never quite sure why they called him Naval Commander. And we can see all of
Armada, Andy.
Oh. I don't like that. I don't like that. But yeah, we don't see Optimus Prime in his super mode, just robot mode, vehicle mode, and we see his, in quotations, trailer. Well, it is a trailer. It's not in quotations.
Yeah, it's
definitely
as convincing as it ever was.
Yes, it's probably... I was going to say it's more useful than the Armada one. It's less useful, because the Armada one turned into pants and a ship base.
Yeah,
this one is just for storing mini vehicles.
Tower mode.
It does. I'm pretty sure it did that in the show as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Once.
You flipped it forward.
Yeah. This time you can like stack the
I
launch
think it was
phase
part.
for some
I
reason.
think it was part of. No, it's always like that. But I think it was part of the. Well, no, you couldn't disassemble them like this before, but it always had the launch bay. But I think it was part of the stock footage.
It must be. It's just. It was always weird. It was strange.
I mean, it was terrible animations. I don't remember.
It was raw. Yeah, it was chunky. Let's say it was chunky to be kind. Mikey, what do you think of Optimus Prime? Do you think he has slimmed down? It seems he has rubber wheels. I know every week you tell me about how you love rubber wheels. I don't need to know.
Perishables. Or things that small children like to get in their teeth and go like, nyang, 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 nyang. It's soft.
Rubber tires?
Oh yeah, anything rubber toys specifically.
Really?
Oh yeah, children love chewing on rubber stuff.
I don't remember ever chewing on, specifically a rubber tire. Maybe I probably did chew on things, teething and whatnot, but I don't remember chewing on, rubber tires of cars and stuff.
Well, not like full-sized ones.
No, I don't mean full-sized ones. I mean toy ones. No, I do like
that child attached to a 4x4? Just
Mary, get the gun. The child's going to eat through the wheels again. It's just a horde of toddlers chewing on wheels.
I want to watch that zombie movie.
That is guaranteed an old Goosebumps episode, right? That could have been a Goosebumps episode. Night of the Chewing Toddlers or something like that, where they go around popping wheels. Oh, it starts off with the wheels being popped. Oh my god, these babies just won't die.
Goosebumps was weird. The only one that stuck with me was the one where a girl was afraid of monster neighbors, and it turned out she shouldn't have been afraid of monster neighbors because her parents were in fact monsters, and then they ate the neighbors, and it was they were going to eat you. And it wasn't the next door neighbor, it was the librarian. Yeah.
It was the librarian. Yeah, because the monster effect for the family was they had eyes and mouths in the back of their head, but not the back of their head, in the back of their hair.
Yeah.
That episode. Wow. Especially the end. The end's effects were so bad. Bad.
I remember the bad guy in that just had boogly eyes.
He did, yeah. Well, they were meant. I guess he was meant to be like an insect or something, because they weren't just like glasses with springs. They were they protrude. I guess he was meant to be like a snail or something. Is that what the idea was? Because they kind of slipped out like a snail. Well, not eyes. I don't know what you call the little greebly bits on a snail antennae. I don't know.
Weird times.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think
Keenan and Kel.
Friday the 5, as it used to say.
Oh
but it's kind of scary. I didn't have to pause for that. That just came out.
Yeah, Jesus, man, I didn't even remember that bit myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But he looks like, I actually think like the proportions are fine. I actually think if you could take out the sides of the robot mode, those two panels that are supporting the wheels.
Oh yeah, they look really awkward.
He'd look quite solid. He'd also have a lot of like really obvious back kibble, but that was kind of the problem with the original design as well. It's weird. I think the figure looks pretty damn solid, but my god, does it not look good in any pose because the entire torso is a lump. Like there's a picture where they fold back the wheels to add him onto the backpack, and he looks way better. He looks way better. What picture is that? Number 18.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah. But like there's one where he's not like that, and they've got him like in a running pose, and from the front it looks really bad, and from the back it looks worse.
You know what it kind of looks like with the wheels not under his arms. It kind of reminds me of like, you know, when you see people in the big fat sumo suits.
Oh yeah,
It like the inflatable sumo suits where you can do fake sumo wrestling. Kind of looks a bit like that, like the awkward movements and because your center is too big for your arms to kind of work around. I agree with you that it's off model, but it definitely helps the figure look generally a lot better when you don't have him, I guess, screen accurate or how he's meant to be.
I really wish they'd engineered it so you could clean that up a bit more in that case.
Maybe, I don't know, pop them off
or just fold them up.
Or something.
Just have it fold up and give him like, okay, he's got like shoulder pylons, a couple of back pylons or something. I
think they wanted to just go for obviously the animation model, and they were like, oh, well, you can do this as well if you like.
We need to accept that we all know this looks a bit shit. Vehicle mode is unfortunately very honest towards the original.
Accurate, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
actually a little less because it doesn't have the little super mode hat on top of mode.
Yeah,
which is not bad. That's probably a better call, but you know.
So it's basically a Tomy truck.
Yeah, which is cute.
Or a Tonka truck, and it's got one of the worst trailer designs we've ever had.
Yeah, it's way more of a Super Sentai trailer than anything else.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, there is definitely a Sentai which has this exact design. I'm trying to think of what it is.
Or something similar. It's not Time Force, is it? Or Lightspeed
Rescue. Do you know what it
Rescue?
reminds me of? The Lightspeed Rescue train.
That's what it was. Okay.
The super train or whatever the fuck it was called. And it would open up and all the like the main Zords would be inside it.
Yeah.
Yes, we're mixing our Sentais and our Power Rangers, kids. Deal with it.
I mean, they're the same thing, really.
Also, Lightspeed had one of the worst names. Go 5.
Go 5. Do.
And it wasn't even like blah blah Sentai Go 5. I think it was just Go 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure they added on a Sentai thing, but
no, as far as I thought it was just Go 5. Sentai Go. Maybe I don't know.
And they didn't have a 6th Ranger, and America couldn't handle that.
No, they had to make their own, and it was fine.
But like Go 5, the 6th Ranger role was basically filled by in America it's the Lightspeed Solar Zord. I don't remember, something boy in Japan because it was
something
intelligent.
Boy.
It was intelligent. I think it could shrink.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, basically this looks like a really solid piece of engineering based on an atrocious design.
Ooh.
So it's like, wow, what a great looking toy of something I don't like.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't say the Megatron's much better. I mean, if they do a Energon Megatron, which one might assume they might,
he'd be easier to clean up.
He would be. The problem is, if they're going to make him screen accurate, he's going to be very clunky in both modes again, because that design's just really fucking clunky.
Yeah, and I'll have the big cockpit backpack as well.
Yeah, that just hung there. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was really good. Like, this is super accurate to the screen, but it's just like, well, this does not transform. It barely did anything. You folded from the knees down upwards, Then you twisted around the backpack and you folded down the head, and it didn't really hide. And that was pretty much about it. You were done. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Do Scorponok. Scorponok had the decent design.
I love Scorponok, and I would love him with proper elbows.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, if you could, that toy is still just quite fun. If you could just make improvements on the articulation, that'd be fun. I think some of the best toys in the Energon line was Scorponok and the Terracons. I liked all the Terracons. I think the best one was Terradive, the bird one.
I liked the bird one. I didn't like his transformation as much. I liked the Ravage's transformation more.
I liked it the other way around. I liked how there was something to me that felt really satisfying, like folding the wings in to form the legs. It was just a nice movements. I really liked the dinosaur as well. Grimlock.
19 American Godzilla.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that the head just kind of hung behind the dinosaur head, just kind of flipped down and hung there. I didn't like that. But both modes were quite fun, and the Insecticon, whatever its name was again that was really fun as well. Yeah, I think was it? Okay. Yeah. I think even though I didn't visually like the Omnibots, they were probably some of the better ones as well.
Yeah, but I think the Terracons really kind of like how the Decepticon toys in general just outshone the Autobots. They were just a better version of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything else you want to say about Fat Boy Prime? I'm sure we'll see some images of his super mode at some point in the future, just not yet.
Yeah, looking forward to some updates. Maybe the new proportions will make for a better looking mode.
No, but I do appreciate these coming out. I look forward to seeing these do potentially well, and then we see 40 or 50 Optimus Primes and Megatrons from Energon and Armada coming out in the future, because you got to jump on the wagon now.
I want RID. I like that design a lot, and the time they re-released it, they fucked it up. So I would like RID, please.
It'd be interesting to see how they do it, because that, 10 modes. 10 modes.
Oh,
10 really rough modes.
Well, I'd say 3 modes.
Yeah.
At 2.
So
3 modes, 2 ideas.
Which ones do you consider the real modes then?
Okay, so robot.
Sure. Yeah, guaranteed.
Two-headed dragon.
Yes.
Race car.
I always forget about the race car, but all right. Yeah.
Okay, and then
you didn't consider the hand mode to be an official mode.
I wanted to, but it's really hard. But it is my favorite mode.
Yeah, it's such a fucking dumb mode. You just look at it, it's like, no, this is a fan mode. Don't lie. Come on.
This is the size of a human hand. So there was a hand, which we all tried. The bat, which was just an incomplete. Bat's okay, but it is just an incomplete dragon.
Yes, 100%.
And Jet, which is just
it's a messy car, if I remember right.
Thing. And then you got Mammoth, which is a broken dragon. Yes. And then you've got Griffin, which is a semi-cohesive broken dragon. Mm-hmm. And then Boat, which is just the plane with the wings down.
Yeah, that was lazy.
And then what's the last one?
I can't remember. I'm surprised you remember all of these, to be honest.
I'm looking at one up. All right, there you go. I've got Car Robots playing in my head now. I'm just going Car Roboto. Megatron RID. Gigatron, because it's a better name. And he wasn't an effective villain, but it was the early 2000s. What was the last mode? So, Chicken. He had 2. Oh my god, we forgot some. Okay, so I'm just gonna drop this into Discord chat. So this is just a link to the image on TFWiki. So you had the robot mode, hand mode, race car mode.
Mm-hmm. You got that.
Base dragon mode, jet mode, original 6. And then you got mammoth, boat, chicken crow mode, for want of a better thing.
That's kind of a fun mode. It's not very good, but
four-legged chicken mode, or four-legged dragon mode, and devil ostrich.
I like the devil ostrich.
Yes, so devil ostrich, which I believe is a technical fan mode. Takara employee Takashi Kunihiro created an additional 11th fan mode, which he dubbed the Devil Ostrich mode, which wasn't officially canonized until... Where do you think it was canonized, Andy?
Comics?
Which comics,
no.
Andy?
No, it was a Legends comic, wasn't it?
It was Legends. It was canonized by the best continuity, which means we must officially love it.
Oh, that's true.
We have to. So, unfortunately, I can now say Devil Ostrich mode is the only canonical alt mode. It appeared in the LGEX Scourge prologue. Shit. So, man, I miss Legends.
Yeah.
Anyway, will we move on?
Yeah, please take us on, Mr. Mikey.
Okay, so this went very under the radar. I only found this out because I was scrolling through Show Z Store, and then I looked it up, the company, and it is like an actual third-party company. They're listed under like fourth-party Transformers, which translates into knockoffs, but I've checked, and the company has already released a toy. They've released the Bingo Toys Silencer, which is the Bumblebee movie Shockwave, which went down very, very well. I remember getting very, very good reviews. But they've announced that via this is up on Twitter as well, and we've got concept art. It's due out in late June. A stylized Windblade, so kind of like What If Flame Toys, but more so. The design is a pretty humanized version of Windblade, complete with belly button. And she's essentially, I'd say she's the Flame Toys design, but sort of more exaggerated. She's got a much taller geisha head. Like, she should have one of those big, like, head... I don't know what the technical term is, but if you picture the classical geisha, they've got this really prominent, like, hair apparatus thing, accessory. Windblade's got a bit of it, but this dialed up to 11. And she has the Obi wings, except these appear to be storing... or being able to store, because it looks like, based on the design sketches here, that you insert these in, because it looks like they've got handles. Extra swords.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. And she comes with... her swords are less like big power swords and more like short swords, which I like.
Yeah. Are they on her forearms rather than being held in the hands as well?
No, they are held in the hands. It's just the hilts have this red part.
Ah, okay.
That's causing it to flow in. I like the aesthetic. Like I said, it's very much kind of like Flame Toys, but with a few extra design choices. Still need to pick that up, but hey, that's my post-life shopping.
That's right. It's out now, isn't it?
Oh, they're all like, I'm three or four behind now, unfortunately.
What, for Windblades, you mean?
For I'm way more than 3 or 4 behind on Windblades, but on Flame Toys. But
okay.
I think it looks fairly neat. I would like to see it with the wings done without the blades in them, but I do like going for the Obi blade look, or Obi wing look. That's something I really liked about Flame Toys Windblade before they changed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think she looks interesting. I think it's designed that way, but it's the head that's really eye catching, I think. There's not much to say in this one. We don't have price or anything yet, but what do you think, Andy?
It's an interesting idea. It doesn't do it for me aesthetically. I prefer the Flame Toys version a little bit more. I'd like to see some real photos of it rather than than this kind of concept artwork for it, which is all we have at the moment as far as I can tell.
Yes.
But it looks like they've tried to do something a little different with it, which I do appreciate. It's not just Windblade. They have tried to go a little bit more of a stylized version of it, which I think is, not a bad thing. The more we can pull away from standard designs for characters, the better. I would say, as long as the core elements or the core parts of the character design are there, and that's kind of what that's done here. But yeah, it's interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see, price. But I would assume expensive just because it's third party and whatnot.
Oh yeah, definitely. If she's not 150, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, it's the same.
So, Andy.
Yes.
What can you tell us about something equally as interesting?
Moon Studios. Well, that's a lie. Can't. Yeah, that's a lie. Yeah, you are. Moon Studios has shown the MS-05 Green Zone, which is G1 Suiken.
Suiken.
Yeah? Suiken.
Suisse. Oh God.
I was gonna say no Suisse.
She'll kill us all.
We only have one image of Suiken. Again, it is not a very dynamic pose. It is not a very dynamic image. I guess it's the green one. It is the green one, right?
Well,
yes.
Green zone. Yeah, because we've seen the other one before.
Yeah, so green and has an orange head. It has a gun. We don't see the train mode, and that's it. There's nothing else. This is really bad marketing, as far as I'm concerned. And you suggested that as well, Mike, when we talked before the show.
I think the marketing for this is really bad. I think this is not a good picture to do on its own because it's really highlighting the fact that this is a combiner with like a lot of retool in it. And yeah, like, hey, let's pose everyone the same, not show anything about the figures, not show anything about the alt mode, not try to make them look dynamic in any way, shape, or form, and just hope you get by in the fact that, yeah, it's an okay design.
It's a train bot. Are you happy? Why aren't you happy? It's a train bot. Be
happy.
happy.
Yeah, yay. 110 each as well. So, probably actually it's cheaper than the Masterpiece now I think about it, but... Yeah, no, it's just not like I like the colors, but
That's
I
good.
do not like the marketing. Like this is bad marketing.
Yeah, it seems a bit rough. It seems a bit rough, at least marketing wise. Don't think we've really got anything else to say there. So I'll just quickly do the next story as well. It's not a super good story either. But Transformers Tuesday was a thing. Apparently, we got to see Legacy leader Galvatron in quotations. Clean deco confirmed.
I'm annoyed by this promo, this passive-aggressive promo.
Let me read to you this feedback, right? Here comes another at Transformers Tuesday reveal! ! Galvatron is back, and this time he's facing off, unlike the other times previously. Wait, didn't say that, but you know what I mean. Facing off with Laser Optimus Prime, and we're happy to announce that we listened to your feedback and removed the battle damage deco! Both Transformers Legacy Galvatron and Laser Optimus Prime are shipping this spring. Dum dum dum.
This is passive aggressive.
It feels it.
This is them saying like, hey, even in the line where this gimmick was dead, we brought this gimmick back that no one liked.
No one liked it.
Because you applied it incredibly poorly.
Yeah. And it didn't look good on Galvatron either. Just random bits of blue on him.
And it just also looked like he had muddy shins.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, we listened to your feedback and removed the battle damage deco. No, you didn't. You wanted to get another use out of this mold, and the only way you could justify it was like giving it a slightly different paint scheme.
So one would assume then that they used the paint budget that was... there that they used to take away from that they didn't apply with the battle damage, and they had a little bit more money, and they used it on the rest of the figure for something else to spruce up his paint job, right? Right? No.
No. Also, he might cost a little bit more due to inflation.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think I like the 2 exclusives better. Of this Galvatron, they look much better.
Yeah. And they don't have the battle damage on, and you didn't... Well,
no.
you were paying extra, but you were paying extra for something that wasn't sold in a store. Which isn't good, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Hooray! If you want to get a non-battle damage Galvatron that you probably... If you wanted Galvatron, you've probably got him.
What if you're someone who wanted a non-battle damage Galvatron and then spent extra money on getting like paint thinner or something to remove the battle damage?
Oh, to be honest, if you've got paint thinner, if you've got these figures at this point and you don't like the battle damage enough to the point you want to remove it, you've probably already got the paint thinner.
But that's what I mean. You're sitting there, you've done that, you spent the money on the paint thinner and everything else, and then you just look at this and just like, I'm sorry, what?
Well, take solace in the fact that you have paint thinner now, and paint thinner can be useful. I'm not saying to drink and to kill yourself with, but you can use it on the other Transformer figures.
I use it for my lining sometimes.
I use it for my bathtub. And me.
What?
Anything else to say about the clean Galvatron, apart from it's a really nasty way to get out another color scheme, I guess? No. In a really light way?
No, I'm good.
All right. Mikey, Micro Machines. I haven't heard about Micro Machines since
micro size.
I haven't thought about Micro Machines since I was a child. Not in a bad way, though.
I thought about them when Jurassic World did a few.
Did they? Oh, neat. Okay.
In the nice little packs.
But they still did the Army Men ones? Because they were the best ones.
I don't know.
I hope so. They did really good Army ones.
Micro Machines are going to have Transformers arrive this spring. I'm just looking at this going like, boy howdy, I bet this was a Rise of the Beast tie-in.
No.
That would be crazy.
No.
As usual, that's where they're doing have announced the long-rumored Transformers Micro Machine line.
The long-rumored. Was it well anticipated as well by the fan base?
By the fan base. The line will kick off with a playset based on Chevrolet Camaro, which transforms into an action garage and a set-exclusive barricade. Naturally, the one you associate with the Camaro.
I don't know what to say.
Transformers Bumblebee playset comes disguised as a Chevrolet Camaro, which kids can transform into an Autobot garage featuring barricade. More than 10 action zones. Kids can navigate 3 floors of ramps and roadways and combine Bumblebee with other Micro Machine playsets. This set includes an exclusive Decepticon barricade Micro Machine that looks more like just a regular police car you've painted in a slightly different color.
No.
$35, age 4+, release spring 2022. Line leaked in December, and an eBay auction gave a closer look at the upcoming vehicle. The listings are Movie Optimus, Movie Bumblebee, Movie Ratchet, Movie Jazz, Movie RC, Movie Chromia, Movie what's his name? Sideswipe, another Bumblebee, Starscream, Jetfire, Brawl, Blackout, Movie 2, Megatron, and Movie 2, Starscream. Yay, I wonder how much they sold for on eBay.
Yeah, right? I know that there was another, like, some of these Micro Machine things have been spotted in stores as well across America, so if you want them, you should get them. Do you find it weird or a little bit lame that you get a set, but you only got one thing to play with it in the set? Shouldn't you get like a Bumblebee and a barricade so you can, at the very least, have them, I don't know, Micro Machine race battle each other at the very least?
I mean, it would make more sense to me, yes.
It'd be like a Mighty Max set, but without like a villain to go against Mighty Max.
Yeah, no, that would be dumb.
Yeah. They
that
did
would be
that
a dumb
for like
thing to do.
They did that for Mighty Max, but they did that for like McDonald's meals, where the size of them was like you can get Mighty Max to fit in this tiny head and nothing else. So that's why all that was in there. I feel you need something else.
Just so you know, these sold for between $15 and $50 for 2.
50.
Ratchet and Jazz sold for $50.
Why?
Jazz is also really bad looking at disco.
15 to 50. That's a huge price difference as well. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Optimus and Bumblebee sold for 20, I think.
Oh, well, yeah, because no one likes them because they're stinky and they need to stop.
There, we'll get to some stuff about people need to stop with designs a little bit, but I'll also just throw it in here just because it's an easy thing to do. BotBots trailer came out. It's basically, have you seen Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, or have you heard of
it?
Basically, it's that with a BotBot in charge who looks a bit like Optimus Prime if he was brown. I don't remember that show very well, so I can't comment. At least in the animation style, looks very much like that. I can't comment on the writers. I think the writers are like Transformer people, so I don't know.
Oh no, not Transformer people.
The worst people. No. But hey, if you're interested in that, it's aiming a little older than I was expecting it to aim.
How old?
I was really expecting this was going to replace Rescue Bots. This feels older. This feels more like 8-year-old kind of stuff.
Ooh.
The mature 8-year-old. Or no, what is it? No, you can't. God, no, you can't. Oh no, I can't say that. I was going to say the Chad 8-year-old, and then I was going to follow it up with what usually follows with the Chad, but I cannot say that about like a 3-year-old. Jesus Christ, you should fucking hope so.
No, Mikey, no.
I didn't say it in the end. It's
I'm
fine.
not sure that makes you a better person. Well, it helps. It helps.
Fine. Andy, take us on for the love of God.
All right, Miguel, let me take you to a dreamboat world where Unruly Industries, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee designer collectible statues have been fully revealed. I have no idea what these are. Right, so about this designer collectible statues, Autobots paint rollers out. The Optimus Prime designer collectible statue by artist Sket 1 shows an I guess it's just Sket 1 shows an iconic Transformers hero ready to blast some color at the morally grey Decepticons. I don't really think the Decepticons in the 80s were morally grey.
No, they were not. Also, Sket 1 is kind of like I'm just looking at some of his stuff. He's just like basically it kind of looks like he designs for Splatoon. Okay. I don't think he does, but his art style very much gives me like I should be designing for Splatoon.
Oh, okay. The artist has a statement. My graffiti-inspired designs reimagines the Autobot leader as a paint warrior with modified spray nozzle blaster,
this
paint
is
roller
not helping
staff.
my comparison. This is not helping my comparison.
Prime respirator and more. The toy Transformers the character from truck to train. Am I dying? Does that make sense what I just read? The toy transforms the character from truck to train with a torso design. No, it doesn't. I'm still dying. Based on the classic Redbird.
Where the toy transforms the character from truck to train. He's a train.
Yeah. They don't mean this is a toy either. They mean this statue is designed to look like a New York subway train. I'm coming back to life.
Except maybe the graffiti on the boob, but I don't see it. But okay, cool. That makes more sense. No, it doesn't in the context of what this is. I suppose it's like graffiti. He's associated with paint and graffiti. Yeah,
well, New York trains do have that. But yeah, like you say, this does not look like Prime that would turn into a train. But
he's got a leg. If you look at his tire...
I see the wheel. It's still not enough.
Okay. No, it's not. I was very confused, but that is really, badly phrased.
Yes, that's why I felt like I said, I felt like I was dying while reading that. But so read it a few more times and then it made more sense. Covered in dripping paint, I wanted to work several fun details into the piece, including spray can holders and paint trays integrated into the Transformers' legs. They're not the wheels for the train? Maybe they're... Okay, never mind. And the classic graffiti throw up on windows.
Spray can hold and paint trays integrated into... I'm looking at this again because it's...
Throw up on the window.
No, those are the train. That's like... he's got actual paint cans on holders on his leg.
Oh, okay, that's what it means. Okay.
And draw on windows, which is presuming means the cell shading?
I don't really know...
This is a bad press piece. This is a bad press piece.
Each statue is made of vinyl. It's going to stand 22.9 centimeters tall. They will be limited. Both of them will be, Prime and B. Optimus Prime. Wow. Okay, Optimus Prime can be pre-ordered for $125.
Kano apparently had nothing to say about Bumblebee. We just got the thing is, I was looking at Kano. I was looking at their websites. Sket 1's website is exactly what you'd expect for someone who is called Sket 1. Kano's website makes me quite disappointed he wasn't allowed to do Bumblebee more in his style.
Okay.
Because I sent you to the link. Clearly he's a Transformers fan, because one of his front page things is a character holding blaster with Laserbeak sitting on a toothpick.
This style's quite nice as a 2D drawing. I'm not sure it would work well as a 3D
photo, but maybe get him to do posters or metal prints or something like that. But I would rather see him try to do that style. Because this Bumblebee I should say, I don't dislike either of these. Not really. It's just some of the Optimus leaves me with several questions, but Bumblebee just looks like a an overweight rapper kidnapped Bumblebee and ripped his head and arms off. But and had the tramp stamp. But
that is weird.
It wouldn't be a tramp stamp there. It would be a vajazzle, I suppose. But I just like looking at it, like the face is too normal. It's just Bumblebee in a hat, and like looking at his art style, I would have liked to see at least like maybe, even if it was something that only looked good from one angle. It's a statue. Just put it in that angle.
Yeah.
And then move it as you walk around the room.
The Bumblebee. Oh, sorry. The Prime is scheduled for release in October. And in December, the Bumblebee's coming out for $115 US, and is expected to be shipped between July and September. So, yeah, the designs are interesting. I don't mind these little weird takes. I don't know why these exist in a way. Like, I don't know who these are for exactly.
Yeah, it's
a limited market, which is I guess why they have a limited amount being made. But
I mean, they're not an insane price. Is something I'm slightly shocked by. I expected these to be $200 or $300.
I'm kind of surprised by how much they are being vinyl. If they were like actual statue material, I'd be like, oh, okay, fair enough. Statue material, fair enough. But this is vinyl. To me, that seems a bit strange. I don't know why it feels. To me, it feels like Hasbro's whoring out the Transformers a little bit. You know, just kind of giving the license to as many different people as they can. That's maybe a good business marketing thing, but for me, I just kind of look at all this extra kind of Transformer garbage, and I'm like, how about Hasbro? We focus on making Transformers.
Well,
I guess this is just extra money for them at the end of the day.
The thing is, this has a creativity to it that I do appreciate, especially, like, we're going to talk about something in a little bit that's going to be, like, the lack of creativity is something that really pisses me off about it. I like, this feels like, okay, I had an art idea. What if, like, I like paint, I like graffiti. What if, like, instead of smokestacks, he had paint cans? Like, and he had a paint mask that makes it look slightly like he's going to, murder someone. But it's also slightly unfortunate because of his tones and everything else. The paint splashes on his body do look slightly more like he's been in a bukkake.
I see what you're saying.
I like the freedom, the creative freedom here. I overall kind of like both of them aesthetically, but so like if Optimus is a train, I wish he looked more like a train, even if he's a subway thing. Like, you could have done more to make him look like a subway car, because I didn't realize he was a subway car.
Yeah.
I would, like I said, I would have really liked if Kano had done Bumblebee in a freer, more his own style. Like, then also, like, rapper Bumblebee. I don't know why Bumblebee keeps being turned into a rapper in these statues. I don't get it.
Because he's down with the kids and he's hip, Mikey. Come on now.
I mean, there's something I do like is that the inside of his feet are sneakers. I thought that's clever. But this is fun, and I do agree. Like, what the fuck is Hasbro thinking at the moment? But I think if I saw more of these, I'd be less weirded out because these happen so infrequently.
They do just kind of... They feel like they come out of nowhere sometimes.
If Hasbro made a thing like, we are now opening the license up to action figures and statues and other things for people to get as creative as possible because we want to broaden our horizons, I'd be way more into that. Rather than these things popping up as oddities you'll forget about.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why the Bape stuff seems more...
on
normal.
brand.
Yeah, on brand. That's a better word for it. It feels more normal because it is a Transformers figure that transforms. It's just a weird color scheme that Hasbro wouldn't generally sell. But you know, if Bape wants to throw it out there to the Japanese market, a trendy market in quote, maybe I don't know. Fair enough. But these things, they're strange, very strange. But I don't hate them. They're just odd. I guess that's they're an oddity.
They're oddities, and they're just almost not odd enough to stand out in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess, Mikey, you can take what I would consider to be the most annoying bit of news this week.
So this is what we were hinting at. Oh boy. Yes. Oh boy.
I'm so fucking annoyed with it. I know loads of people are happy, but I'm personally really pissed.
I was annoyed, and then I got more annoyed when I saw that Photoshop because it didn't fix the problem, but it... Oh boy, did it highlight what the problem was.
Okay, we'll need to explain what the Photoshop is once you tell us about the story.
So Transformers, we have a new collaborative figure. Transformers in collab with. What is it now? They've done Ghostbusters, they've done Back to the Future, they've done Dracula, they've done Top Gun for some reason, and they've done Jurassic Park, which haunts me to this day because Amazon fucked up my order. This time they're doing Transformers versus G.I. Joe.
I mean, it's good. We knew it was going to happen one day. People have been asking for this for a long time.
And, we've had, like, G.I. Joe vehicles repainted into Transformers before. We've had Transformers toys with references. We've had Viper, who's the best repaint.
Yes.
And I heard someone on a podcast say, well, he's not a real G.I. Joe toy. He has the fucking Cobra emblem on him.
How is he not? Well, I mean, what do they mean by he's not real G.I. Joe?
Oh, because he's a repaint of a G1 figure.
Okay, because
of a existing figure, rather, generation.
Logistically, he's not a G.I. Joe figure. He's a Transformers figure because he can't really interact with the G.I. Joe stuff. But he is inspired by G.I. Joe, and like you said, he has the Cobra insignia. He's a rattler. That's what he is. That's the kind of plane that they're trying to go for. I think it was really good. It looked good.
I love him. I love him very much.
And they literally gave him the wild weasel helmet as well. At least the face part. They didn't obviously give him the full dome. But the face was that of Wild Weasel's mask for the Rattler pilot. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
good
that
figure.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you notice they actually made him? They try to make it look like a Rattler. They didn't just, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. So. This figure was announced on the G.I. Joe 40th anniversary live stream. I don't actually know if they announced any like normal G.I. Joe toys.
They did. They announced a lot of really cool things.
Oh, cool!
A lot of really cool things.
Before I continue to this, will you give me an example so I can have something positive?
Sure. Yeah. Let me just pull up the Histang thing because there was some they did reveals for the classified line, which theoretically, when my money starts up again, I can start buying. They showed images for, let's see, future figures. They showed Zarana, Dusty, the Crimson Viper, and a Python Patrol Trooper. The classified line, if you're not aware, is the 6-inch tall line.
Yeah, it's basically like Legends or Black Series.
Yeah, so the fact that Zarana's in there, very good. Another Dreadnought. I would have preferred the original boys to be out before they farted out Zarana, but okay, she can go with her brother, Zartan. Crimson Guard, good luck getting that motherfucker. That's going to be another one that no one's going to be able to buy because everyone's going to buy like 5,000 ones and not let anybody else have them. They're doing a 3-pack of the Vipers, with one slightly different coloured one as a commander, and they're going to put in a load of effect parts. It's going to be quite expensive because it's 3 figures.
I ask this every time. Does one of them look depressed and very aware of what show he's in?
They all have like the mirror masks on, so who knows?
Yes.
If you want that, if you want this. Now, this is great because this was a figure that they made an exclusive for Target originally. So putting it in a 3-pack, that's good. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to get this because everybody's going to fucking buy it again. But I hope to be able to at least buy this 3-pack because that's all I'd need for these Vipers. I don't need to army build them. They showed the Megatron, which we can talk about later. They seem to be doing some other mediocre figures, which don't really do it for me, but are kind of retro-y styled. They're doing more retro-styled figures. I couldn't really figure what those were. They're doing more classified figures, but they're putting them in old-school boxes. The old carded boxes.
Yeah.
Again, don't know why. The Baroness is going to be in one, which is the second time she will be released, so I can hopefully get her, because the other previous time she was released with a shit bike. And was very expensive and hard to get because she was an exclusive, so this is another way to get her. They're also doing... I can't remember who this dude is. What's his name? He's got like a fancy mustache, but I don't recognize him. They're doing Bazooka. I recognize Bazooka. They are doing Snake Eyes' apprentice, not Jinx, the male one. I don't know the G.I. Joe's names because G.I. Joe lame. Dr. Mindbender's coming out, which is very cool. And
cool.
They showed off Tomax and Zaymot as well, the Crimson Twins, as well as Stalker. Nice. I know Stalker. Who they've made look like Samuel L. Jackson a little bit, oddly enough.
I think we all look like Samuel L. Jackson on the inside.
I'll send you a picture and you tell me if this guy looks specifically like Samuel L. Jackson, because I think he do. I think he do. So there's the image going through. I'll read a few more out, because what else was shown?
Oh, wow, yes. No, he absolutely does.
He definitely does, yeah. I think that was it. That was still quite a decent amount. Like, if you're a classified collector, there's a lot of stuff here for you. And they also showed the Megatron as well, which, like I said, a lot of people seem to be happy with, which is good. I just like to be able to buy these classified figures, but until my job actually pays me, I won't be able to, which is concerning.
But yes, so lots of positivity there. Anyway, we had this announced, the Hiss Tank Megatron and Baroness. So this is a new mold, as far as we can tell, despite the fact the face is very clearly Siege's. But people tell me like there's no shared parts; it just looks the same. So it's terrifying. It haunts my dreams. But so
that head has to be reused. It has to be.
I don't think so, because it's got the sculpt around the bucket head seems different. I had a look.
So similar.
It looks so similar.
So similar.
So yeah, it's a black Hiss Tank. That comes with a 3/4 inch, I believe, Baroness that can fit into the front of the Hiss Tank, so she can drive it.
It's an old one as well, so she's not like superposable.
I was going to say she also looks very odd.
Yes, very old.
Yeah, she's less has glasses and more is made of glasses. Her face is just kind of like glasses are erupting out of her face.
As God intended, Mikey, as God intended.
And God intended. And yeah, and then Megatron turns into a very G1 style Megatron, and the cockpit part of the Hiss Tank, it forms his backpack, and then Baroness can ride on top of that and sort of do some gunning, for want of a better term. In concept, great idea. In execution, go fuck yourself.
Why?
He is so Generation 1. It's ridiculous. And the Hiss Tank looks really good. I think the Hiss Tank looks fun, and little Baroness, oh, that's great. Good crack. Good fun there. Megatron is a Generation 1 Megatron with extra kibble.
Yeah.
The Hiss Tank is pitch black. Megatron is very pale grey, and obviously most of these pictures are of the CAD model with lots of extra lining and stuff like that. The actual figure is as grey as Siege Megatron, which is not helping his reputation at the moment. Because he's gone so Generation 1, and because they wanted Baroness to be able to sit into a cockpit, he also has a ton of kibble. Basically, the way the Hiss Tank is integrated into Megatron's robot mode is there are threads on the legs, which, give him credit, they're broken up. And he's got like shoulder hip missiles, and then basically you just fold everything back. So like his shoulders have these big parts of the Hiss Tank, but they're folded back so you can't really see them from the front, and then from any angle but the front they look incredibly cluttered. And yeah, he's got an entire cockpit just folded there in his back, and a couple of guns sticking out the top. I think it looks pretty bad. I think it's an idea that people are very, very excited by.
Yes.
And I understand you want this to be something that it's not. But it's not. And then what made it worse is we saw a Photoshop. A Photoshop was basically turn the silver and grey bits black.
It helped.
That's all it did. It didn't fix.
No, it didn't.
It helped.
Yes. It wasn't black though. I think it was like a much darker grey. So there was still like distinguishing colours from the Hiss Tank parts and the Megatron parts. But it like you say, it was a boon at the very least.
Before I say my piece, Andy, your thoughts.
Yeah, I felt really annoyed by it because my issue is. I like I've always liked, me and you've talked about it before, the Devil's Due versus Transformers comic, the G.I. Joe versus Transformers comic.
It's great comic.
Yes, very fun. The idea when they had those designs were the Transformers transformed from G.I. Joe vehicles into robot modes, but not into their G1 robot modes, into appropriate modes so they would still look like G.I. Joe vehicles or something that could transform into that. This is just a gun Megatron from G1, who
with
has
a tiny fusion cannon, by the way, very, very small fusion cannon.
hollow fusion cannon as well.
Lots of hollow in this, actually.
I really hate how they've just scooped out the inside of the cannon. Makes that look really bad.
Really weird.
Yeah. I just really dislike the fact that they've crammed in this Megatron, and I think you could have done a much more interesting design with him if you hadn't tried to make him just the G1 gun. And I definitely think that because of that, I don't know if it's just that. Having the Baroness fit in is nice, and having it playable with G.I. Joe figures, I think is very cool. But I would like this to still do a bit more transforming, which it doesn't seem to do. It seems like they've had to compromise a lot to try and get this to work. And I think if we'd focused on just making him his own design, obviously you start off with a his tank, and then we just try and make that a robot, and then we just give him the standard Megatron head. That would have gone a long way to making this more of a complete look for me. At the moment, it feels like people have just mushed it together. I don't think we've had this much of a mush with our crossovers before, because previously we've had like the Top Gun figure was bad. That was a bad one. Well, did we have any other unique ones that were made? I don't think so. I think we just had repurposed, didn't we?
Yeah, listen, they were so repurposed that they looked very distinct from the originals.
True, but they were repurposed at the very
not
least.
Rexy, but like Rexy was all about the paint job. But
yeah. Maybe that's why those ones worked better, because they were repurposed, and this one's its own brand new thing, and there just wasn't a huge amount of. I don't want to say there wasn't time or effort or money put into it, because there was, but it feels like we missed the mark here, at least from my perspective.
This is, I think,
great ideas though, which is really annoying.
Yeah, I think I'm hitting my breaking point with G1.
Oh, I've hit it. I've hit it ages ago. I'm so tired
I've made excuses for it for a while, if I'm honest. But I've said I'm tired of it. But like, this is so, to me, uncreative, because it's even like, hey, we couldn't even think of trying to integrate. Even if we painted you didn't even think to paint the his tank gray, if you wanted it to look like that.
Yeah, that would have maybe helped.
But like, literally just taking a Generation 1 Megatron and dropping a bunch of extra kibble on him makes the design look stupidly cluttered.
But these are for children, Mikey. We're not the primary audience for these figures.
They keep telling us we are.
They do keep telling us,
and I don't agree. I keep telling people we're not. But I think I don't like how this turned out. I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like the color contrast. I'm thinking like, okay, if you didn't have to have the G.I. Joe gimmick is fine. You didn't have to have it.
No, that's true. That's true.
And like, but if you were going to make a G1, that was never not having it was never going to fix the problem, because you wouldn't have wanted to integrate it in properly. Like, surely the thing to do would be to not have it in, and then have like the chest is formed from the cockpit, or have it in, and like, okay, the chest is still formed from the cockpit, but like, Baroness rides inside him, and the gimmick is that she's controlling him. You could have, if you'd gone with a fresh design, like a Megatron-ish design, or a brand new design with a Megatron head, or whatever, you could have done something really cool with this.
Potentially, yeah.
The G.I. Joe ones, not every design in there was a hit, but there were some really good ones. The third-party ones that we saw based on concept designs were really good. Just like, this is hitting that lack of originality that's been really driving me nuts since IDW2 started.
Do you think it's lack of originality, or do you think it's the forced gimmick to work with the Baroness? Because if you look at the side profile of the his tank, and you think how much room is given up to the Baroness, I think it's like image like 117, where it's just a side view. If you look at the side view, you see the amount of cockpit, and then you've got behind, which is where you then put her into the gun turret. That's a lot of room dedicated to the G.I. Joe figure, and that's not a lot of figure left for where Megatron is allowed to be able to transform. And I think maybe if you've given up one of those slots, maybe you gave up like the gun turret. Maybe you took. I mean, it's a compromise, right? To make it a better transformer, you get rid of the ability to put the Baroness into the back. And then you've got the entire back section to work with for more transformation. And then, granted, you can still have the cockpit. hanging off the back, but at least you have a driver, right? At least you've got a driver, and that still works. Or you could have taken up the entire cockpit and had the back, so the Baroness could have mounted the gun turret, but you could have just like filled the inside where the cockpit is with like maybe you make it an opaque carapace, and you just fill that with like Megatron Greeble and stuff like that. Or you make it look like computer workings, so if you looked in the top of it, it looked a bit like computer workings, but you could still fit bits of Transformer in there for Megatron to work more with.
I wish I could say that would do it for me, but I think they would help. It would help. Like, I definitely think getting rid of that would be a good idea for the quality of the figure. But I do think that because what they're trying to do is Generation 1, G1, I look like a gun Megatron. They've limited themselves when you're doing a design that is this not even like you can't even H-tank this design.
No,
like
no.
This can't even be like Megatron a tank turned into gun-inspired Megatron. This is a very non-traditional Megatron design, and you try to force a Megatron design into it with an intrusive gimmick. Yeah, and like even if you took out that gimmick, as long as that design aesthetic is still there, like they don't really have many choices but to give him a ton of backpack, and like it made the figure look very unstable in the actual video. I'm just really sick of this. Yeah. I know people go like, oh, finally I've got the G... You keep saying you finally got the G1 figure you always wanted. You said it for 3 fucking years of toys.
Oh, Mikey, that's being generous.
I know, but
more than that.
I'm specifically looking at this design.
Yeah, okay.
And the oh my god, the bloody time. Every time someone said like, oh, we've got the Megatron we wanted. Oh, we got the Megatron we wanted. Oh, we got the Megatron we wanted. Oh, stop saying you got the Megatron you wanted. Which one's the Megatron you wanted?
The new one.
I do not like the John, what's his name? Not John Barber, the other John. Who was in... He had a really big influence on the art aesthetic of Transformers at the time. And he was very G1 focused. And then the people he's brought in and the people who are still there are very much pushing their marketing on making it G1. And they've been doing that for a while. They've even done it to the point that they've marketed their toys for Rise of the Beast, as the same thing. And I'm just like, enough is enough. It's been it's heading towards 40 years. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, like, if we just focused on Armada. And I don't really like Armada. If we focused on Armada for like 3 years, I'd be like, okay,
we're not going to redesign a single character, but we're going to do them Armada toys. At least they have to be different.
We half-heartedly did Beast Wars like that. Half-heartedly.
Yeah. We did Beast Wars, but we were afraid of Beast Wars, so we stuck in a bunch of G1 characters and re-releases of toys you already had.
Reimagine Beast Machines to make the designs work with toys a little bit more.
That would be really, really good.
That could be quite interesting, because there's some like there was some really good toys in Beast Machines. Like what was the snake called? The King Cobra.
Oh, yeah, the Karada kind of thing.
Yeah. It wasn't Karada, but I think of Karada when I think of him. He was Quick Strike? Was it Quick Strike?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he was great. He's really good. The Unicorn, also incredible figure. The Black Arachnia, not too bad. Never liked the face design in that show, but the actual toy, pretty decent. And all the Viacons... All the Viacons had great designs. I don't think many of them got decent toys, unfortunately. And I think you could make those... I think you could do the Viacons again, and I think you could make the Viacons very cool. With the engineering tech that we have today, you could definitely make the Viacons. The Maximals, a little bit trickier, of course. But could do that. We could do that. It's about... When was the last time we got anything like Beast Machines at all? Armada, Energon, to a lesser extent. And again, the Galaxy Force, again, to a lesser extent. But I'll take it. I'll take those figures again. New and updated and made fancier and better. Because, again, each of those... Even the bad... people might like them. The bad Japanese series of Armada, Energon, and Cybertron all had really interesting, unique Transformer designs, which could be improved on in today's market. Which is what the third-party fans toys, who we talked about earlier, is at least doing. Granted, they've done Megatron and they've done Prime from Armada, and that's it. But it's still something, and they are doing tidal wave as well.
Yeah,
so they are doing something. They are doing something. So there is a market for this stuff. And I bet if Hasbro put out that Armada Prime that they, I don't know, said they should, or at least Takara showed a few thousand years ago, maybe doing something like that. I wouldn't be angry to see Armada Prime out. I'd be like, it's an Optimus Prime. Okay.
Good design. You can do it in black. People like black. You can do it in 2 different black schemes, actually.
You could do it in yellow. You could do it in because there was a yellow version. There was the red Powlinks version, whatever that one was. Yeah, you could do quite a few things, or not. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe make some decent Cyberverse toys.
Yeah, and I don't do it in a way where you're doing, hey, we're doing Legacy, and I'm just like, I'm fucking terrified of Legacy after what I've seen.
I don't know. I really don't like. Okay, good points, right? Good points on the figure. Love the idea.
Points.
Love the idea. The idea is great. The idea is fantastic. It's something everybody's wanted. The box design also amazing.
Yes, box is great.
Not like in a haha ironic, this isn't actually cool, I'm just pretending it's cool. I think the box design is very cool. I like how it's the sideways cut in half, but Megatron's shoulder's still leaning over and the box splits in half. I think that's a really good design. And the 2, like, Decepticon side of Transformers box design and the G.I. Joe styled art design look really nice together visually. That's my positives. I think we should have had
a
better...
negative?
Okay.
It's $90.
Oof.
Want to hear another negative?
No.
It's £90.
Oh, fuck you. Just because you can change the dollar to a pound doesn't mean you should. So what's that mean? It's in euros. Is it $100? 100 euros?
We don't. We'd have to get a true Hasbro Pulse. So it would be
even more right?
Until it came up and like, hang on, is it up on Zavvi? We'll have a look. Is it up on Zavvi?
I would have thought they'd have to be available to you. Because they don't need to do anything. They just throw the boxes across the water and it's like, buy these, you fucking Irish people. I don't care. we don't need to do anything.
Oh, no. Let's go with Zavvi Ireland. Yes, it's for Zavvi UK it's worse. Let's Zavvi Ireland.
How much from Zavvi UK out of interest?
96.
Oh, fuck you! Is that for you specifically, Ireland, or is that just
UK?
In general?
That was UK.
Wow.
I'm checking Ireland. G.I. Joe Megatron. So, G.I. Joe Megatron.
Yes.
Holy shit!
How much is it?
115.49
euros.
Wow. Let's do some conversion, kids, because I did this when Hot Rod came out, and everyone told me I was making a big fuss over nothing until I told them what the price was.
Oh, Mikey, you need to stop whining.
So, in dollars, you would be paying for this $90 figure $128. Now, what would you be paying in pounds? We'll go for both Zavvi prices. We'll go for Zavvi and we'll go for Pulse.
Sure.
United Kingdom, pound sterling. You would be paying $120 and $126.
Oof.
So
if you wondered,
in fact, I think we're actually doing better. Hang on, let me double check that. There is a $2 difference between UK and Ireland.
The 3-pack of the Vipers with the extra accessories and all that is the same. Is the $86.99 price that the Megatron set is, and this is obviously the same figure, but 3 6-inch figures with a load of accessories and a load of weapons. I think it's a better deal. I mean, it's better than what you're having to pay if you want to get it from Zavvi.
So, yeah. So, if you were buying this in the UK or in Ireland, whether this is because of import price, VAT or imports or anything else, you will be paying approximately $25 to $30 more.
Wow. For the privilege.
And because these are buying online, you will also be paying shipping. And
of course, yeah.
If you're buying for Hasbro Pulse, because you're not in the UK, you will be paying import charges. Which can be occasionally half the price of the figure.
Yeah, it depends, and you need to be. It's either luck. Sometimes it's luck based.
Yep.
But,
so please be aware, it is plausible depending on how you buy it. So I would say if you want to buy this and you're in Ireland or Europe or France or something like that, go with Zavvi or similar stockists. Do not try to buy off Hasbro Pulse.
No.
But if you're outside the UK and buying from Hasbro Pulse UK, you could theoretically be paying $200 for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I told people when they said Hot Rod's worth it because I liked the trailer, not for $130, he's not.
It seems rough.
This is just depressing.
Yeah. But then again, there's going to be a lot of people who are very happy with this figure, or who seem to be quite happy with this figure.
Yeah, no, I'm not
that's
knocking.
always great.
If you're happy, be happy. I'm very happy for you, but...
Yeah. It's another, I guess for me and Mikey, it feels like another punch from Hasbro to us saying fuck you. At least that's the feeling I get. Shall I take us on to the last bit of news, Mr. Mikey?
Yes.
TFCon stuff. Right, TFCon Los Angeles. They're doing 2022 exclusive figure, the FansHobby X The Chosen Prime. MB-14B. So it is their Hosehead figure, done it into Pyro's colours.
Is it Pyro?
Yeah.
Well, it's arson, so I suppose Pyro would make sense.
Yeah, Pyro. Oh. Yeah, it's old school G2 Pyro. So he's got the striped yellow bottom and whatnot. But yeah, they're doing awesome for their exclusive.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah. There's only going to be 600 of these. So if you want one, you got to go to TFCon LA to get it. It's going to be $80 each. Also on the cards for the Los Angeles one. I can say Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is funnier to me.
He can, but he chooses not to.
Exactly. We've got Bill Rogers, the voice of Wheeljack from War for Cybertron and that Netflix run. We have Jason Marinocha. I think I said that almost right. From the same series. Who's Megatron and Galvatron. He was a decent voice. I liked it.
Yes,
and we also have Joe Zjai. Zjai?
Don't ask me. I'm not helping you with that one.
Okay, I was hoping you could.
No.
The voice of Bumblebee. I'm sorry, Joe.
Joe, I'm going to say something, and do not take this personally. I don't remember what Bumblebee sounded like.
Gruff.
Didn't everyone?
Fair.
Apparently, he's an ex-Air Force officer.
Okay.
Now voice actor and author. Is in Fire Emblem. Oh,
which one?
Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out a couple of years ago, which I've been meant to get. I still haven't, but I've been meaning to get it.
Yeah, I'd like to get a physical copy. It's very hard to get a physical copy of it now.
Tales of Arise, which I do want to try at some point.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Tokyo Revengers.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Oh, no, you do. You've seen it. Cobra Kai, Karate Kid Saga continues, the video game. They have a video game of that?
I guess. The Netflix show is pretty popular, or YouTube, or wherever it came from.
He was Calico in Re-Rise. I'm assuming Calico is one of the cat people.
Probably. I didn't watch the dub, neither did you.
No, I did not. And yeah, so he's like a voice actor of some merit. Played Lisa Enza in Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Okay, fair play.
But yeah, no, he's had a pretty long career since 2003. So, which, how do I put this delicately? Makes it slightly shocking how it played out on Transformers, but hey,
I don't think it is shocking.
That's what you can do with bad voice direction.
Yep, pretty much.
People really don't realize the effect voice direction has.
Oh yeah. Anyway, those guests are coming, so I guess we can move on to what you did this week, Mikey. What did you do? And last week. You've been gone for a while. You've left us, Mikey. Now you return. We can talk about happier things now. I
don't know what to say for last week, so I'm just going to merge stuff and just say words. So yeah, I was away for most of the week doing a paleontology thing up in Edinburgh, which got a lot of press news. And I think I'm on the news. I think I was on BBC.
Did you discover a dinosaur? Or was it just
I didn't, but someone else did. and I helped. So, I took credit. So yeah.
Did
if
you
can find it,
Moonbase 2 on BBC?
You need to watch a Moonbase 2 podcast.
We're talking about Transformers.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory, we do.
Like that. Yeah, occasionally other things. Occasionally.
Yeah.
Nothing you should ever hear. But yeah, so that took up most of my week, and then the week before I did stuff, I'm sure, but I don't remember what half of it was. So, I'm done with Yu-Gi-Oh, I think.
Oh, it's over.
The meta crushed me. The meta killed me. The meta frustrated me, and I'm done.
What's the meta again? The one turn and you're dead move.
One turn and 20 minutes of watching someone else draw cards while you're clicking a button. Not because the button will do anything, but because it's all you can do.
Yay, gaming's fun.
Not worth it. And I the only thing more frustrating than doing it this way would be doing it in person.
Okay.
When that game works, it's a really fun game. But the meta of that game is a frustrating shit show.
You don't love it?
I do not love it. I'm happy if you do, but boy howdy, I don't want to engage with the meta that way because that requires an investment in deck building I do not want to do, because that is when you have to start spending money, because you have to build these decks very, 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 very specifically so you can summon your 15 million things in one turn.
Yay!
So, I'm not interested. I had fun with my Blue Eyes deck. I had fun with a few other decks, but the meta killed it, and I have no desire to start building up a Dragon's Maid deck because I know it's supposed to be good, but it's playing by the same fucking meta.
Mm-hmm. It's hurt you then.
Yeah. It's just, I would not have the patience to do that. So I haven't picked up anything else recently in terms of games. Did a lot of comic reading in the last couple of weeks. Picked up Black Hammer, which is something I've been meaning to read for a while, by Dark Horse. Kind of their Justice League, but like, Dark Horsey, which means it's probably a lot darker. I haven't started it yet, but picked it up. Also caught up on the entire Boom Studios Power Rangers run. How
many comics was that then that you had to catch up on?
I had them before the great Comixology event. And then I was just like, oh god, I better try reading them. And then, my god, I'm not going to go join the rants, but my god, is user interface so bad. Like, even on the app where it's like better, it's just like, oh, what's my comics? You need to link your account. Okay, I linked my account. Still can't see anything. Have you hit sync? Okay, 3 comics have appeared. Okay, hit sync again. 3 more comics have appeared.
Not programmed well then, I'm guessing.
Hit again. Now 2 issues of one of the comics you already had up have appeared. We're just like, I have quite a few comics on here. This could take a while. But yeah, so 30-ish books. I basically stopped reading around Necessary Evil. I didn't really read too far into Mighty Morphin or Power Rangers, which is what the Boom Studios run divided into. Necessary Evil, I ended up rereading most of the old stuff as well, just to refresh my head. Not a lot of the side stuff, which I know was good, but I just didn't read it. Necessary Evil is definitely... Necessary Evil and the Beyond the Grid's run are definitely weak points. Beyond the Grid has a fun roster because it takes Rangers from different teams, but it's really just stalling until they move on to the White Ranger story. And then Necessary Evil has a lot of things I like, but it introduces Rocky, Aisha, and Adam and does not develop them at all.
Oh, bummer.
They get kind of perfunctory. Oh, well, they're nervous about being the bad guys. Mostly because the story's about introducing the Omega Rangers, which is Jason, Zack, and Trini, and it turns out they didn't actually go to Switzerland, they went to space. So it's one of those things, they get lots of good character development in it, but it was frustrating that 3 new characters who needed a lot of character development didn't get it, and they never really get it so far, because how the books are laid out. Also brings in the new Green Ranger, but doesn't do a ton with him in that one. Then Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers kicks out, and they're both fantastic. Written by the same guy, so that's it. Like, well done. I'm trying to balance 2 books at once, but they're excellent books. Again, Rocky, Aish, and Adam do not get much character development, especially Rocky. But that's about like the show, really. But they do good stuff with all the existing Rangers. The new Green Ranger, Matt, they build it up like it's some great mystery, but based on the book, it literally couldn't be anyone else. But they do use him well and how he causes conflict in the group. The Omega Rangers get really good stuff. Draken is in it, and he's really well written. Zordon gets loads of good shit. Like, Zordon gets reams of character development. We'll get his whole backstory. We get Lord Zed's backstory. Like, I know who Zed was. I know what he looked like before all his skin melted off.
Was he very sexy?
He was a bit.
Oh my god.
He was a bit.
Oh my god.
They also give him like depth in the modern day. He's not just a lunatic. They give a good relationship between him and the minions, by which I mean they give him a relationship. And their perspective on him as well is well handled. Good action, new Zord combinations, including a Dragon Zord Tiger Zord cross, which got people excited. But no, the writers changed now for one of the Mighty Morphin. Mighty Morphin's got a new writer coming in. He's staying on Power Rangers, but I think it's really, really good read. It also introduces the Blue Cat Omega Ranger, who is a big 6-eyed tiger, who cannot talk, but is a Power Ranger. And that's all they do. Their name is Yell. They had superpowers, and then they got Power Ranger powers.
Okay.
And they don't like Zack.
Doesn't sound like they're as cool as Dougie Kruger, though.
No, they are not. Dougie is in the book at one point, though.
Okay.
Also, Evil Doggy is in the book as well. Evil Red Doggy. We've got a scar. But no, I would really, 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 really recommend reading it. Caught Up in Turtles as well. That's just continuing on. I still like it. It's not really doing anything special. I will say it is wheel spinning at the moment. I have a feeling...
Is there good stuff in the wheel spinning, or is it
just
wheel spinning and you're like, ugh?
There's good character work, but like they just hit an arc with the Punk Frogs, which I'm not liking too much. Especially they're doing some stuff with Raphael and Alapex, which I think like, oh, don't fall down that fucking thing, please. But they've just made a big announcement that they are pushing as hard as fuck at the moment. So I do not feel bad about saying it on here, but Venus de Milo next issue.
Oh, yay! Turtle boobs.
Yeah, no, they've already got turtle boobs. They got Jenny. Jenny's been the main character for a while.
All right,
she does not have breasts.
she
she does go around wearing a t-shirt and playing death metal guitar, though.
Okay. Well, give me the turtle boobs. That's what we need.
Yeah. But Venus looks like she's more like a cyborg robot this time. Like what we seen of her design, like there's a big like jewel embedded in her shell, and also like one of the covers is like her being assembled, but she's also like got like the shinobi stuff. So I don't know what's coming with that. What else did I read? Did a bit more of the IDW 2 that is coming very slowly. Yeah. Did an interview with Steve Orlando on King Grimlock. That's out for Patreon. Should be out for the rest of the world next week. He's a fun guy. Very enthusiastic about that book. Then in terms of watching, oh god, I won't go into too much. Mostly because of time, I didn't watch too much. Revice is up to episode 24 now. So they've wrapped up the new form arc, which was a 3-episode arc, which I haven't done in a while for a new form anyway. Jack Revice, and weirdly enough, it kind of turned into a Vice character study.
Okay. Hang on, we getting more forms still?
Yes, there's at least one more super form, and then there's another rider announced.
Are we going to calm down with the forms anytime soon?
Yeah, it is. I really hope so, but like, I do feel like a little bit like the writer is conflicting with the production staff a little bit on this, because it's just like, okay, form. We need lots of forms for this one, because for some reason, I don't know. Because they've announced, what is it, Thundergale Genome?
It doesn't, like, from what I remember, the end screen where it showed all the stamps, it feels like we were already getting close to the end of that.
Yeah, they brought on another set, which they haven't updated since Volcano, and they've only added like Volcano and Jack Revice. But there's like 20, leak. Someone hacked the Demons driver, DX Demon driver, and found like a bunch of stamps that haven't been released. But obviously some of them will be released, some of them won't. Also, a new form was in there as well, but we don't know what the plan is for that. So yeah, it is. I was thinking about it today. Like it's not taking away from my enjoyment of the show. I think it's really a solid show. But it's just like one of the things it's one of the things that make me aware that there's a lot of marketing going on, which is, it doesn't help that for the most part I'm pretty iffy on the forms. The new one that they announced, Undergale, not for me. Neither is Live's upgrade that they've announced, Holy Live. Jack Revice I actually kind of like, because it's basically just like a black Revice with extra spikes. Or Black Revi with extra spikes, rather. But character stuff, it's mostly a Vice character study with in the last couple of episodes with Karazaki, the evil doctor, as well. He's getting a bit of work. And weirdly enough, the Demons driver.
Would you say it's picking up again? Or is it still just consistent?
It looks like it's going to have a big plot thing in the next episode.
That's good.
Something happened that I really, really didn't see coming, which is basically a character says, I'm done with this bullshit, and pieces the hell out.
Is it the little snake thing?
No, they just abuse her a lot in the last couple of episodes, because apparently...
Do you think at some point we're going to get a thing where, like, she murders somebody? Like, she gets a knife and she stabs him, and everyone turns around and she goes, I was evil all along, and I'm going to revive Gifu-sama myself.
I like, she needs to still have the same voice, though.
Oh, yeah, the very cute voice. Yeah. When I say stab, I mean very slowly slit someone's throat open.
Yeah. Or just, like, start biting them and just, like, injecting venom in.
That'd be a great turn, wouldn't it? You'd be, holy shit, Jesus Christ.
Love Cop, why?
You pushed me too far, man. You beat me too much.
Yeah, they beat her a lot. They, like, used her as a springboard in one of these. And they apologized beforehand, but there's a clear mark on her head.
Oh, no.
And it's just like, why? And like,
they made a plush of that figure, yeah. They must have.
They did. Good. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's been advertised. But from what I understood, the voice actress got COVID, and so she hadn't shown up for like 5 episodes.
So they beat her. They beat her mascot then, who represents her voice. Yeah,
like she's like, okay, now we've got you. Like pain. But yeah, more building up of the group weekend, more good stuff for Sakura. Daiji, I was thinking about it today. Sakura feels more like the secondary rider than Daiji does.
Okay. Does Daiji just feel there? Because Daiji kind of felt there, like he's there. He doesn't fill the secondary rider role.
No, the only time it feels like Daiji is significant is when we're dealing with Kagero.
Do you think maybe the story would have benefited from it just being Ikki and her being like the junior rider learning to be a rider under him kind of thing?
I think it...
Or having her more enthusiastic, then it's more focused.
Yeah, I think just letting her be the full secondary would have been a smarter idea.
Yeah, kind of Batman and Robin-y.
Yeah, but I like her a lot. She's really good in this. It's a really, like, Daiji, I like Daiji. It's just, like, he's not really done anything since the Evil arc, which was 14 episodes ago.
Oh, God.
Like, the biggest thing that happened recently is Kagero, like, made an appearance again, for the first time in 10 episodes.
Did they give him spicy food again?
No, but it did get referenced.
Okay, fair enough.
No. But now he's just, like, he's kind of hanging out in the back saying, like, yeah, whatever's going on with that evil statue, it's making me stronger.
Okay.
You've got a headache. This won't go well for you. I'm in your brain. So what I'm predicting is that Live's upgrade is going to be a fusion of Evil and Live, with a new Vice stamp, and I'd hope not, but I could see Kagero being fully suppressed and like the character basically fades away. But I like the Evil suit a lot more than I like the Live suit, so I hope not.
Yeah, the Live suit's not good.
Yeah. But yeah, big stuff. Looks like I'm just going to say without spoilers, I think a prediction you and I have had about basically every Rider show is about to come true in a slightly roundabout way, to do with evil characters.
Much later than anticipated, because usually it happens at Christmas.
Yeah, but it's just like, who do you not trust? What's the one character you never trust in a Kamen Rider show? Like,
oh no.
It's just like they show up and you're just looking at it just like, you, I don't know who you are, but you bastard.
Oh, I thought you meant the dad.
So did I. I'm just looking at the dad now. I think something's about to happen with the dad, and I'm just like, this is not me spoilering. This is me having a theory, but if you basically don't want to hear the theory, skip ahead about a minute. I think the demon's driver demon is his father's demon. I think they took it out and put it in the driver.
Ah.
And I think what's going to happen is it's going to come back and possess him based on what happens in the most recent episode. Yeah. And I think that's why I think they took out his heart and at the same time took out his demon. And his demon is an asshole. And it would actually make sense if you think about the whole demons are the opposite of you. Like, we find out the name of the demons, by the way. His name is Bale.
As in the demon lord.
As in the demon lord, yes. Subtle. But no, like, I'm looking forward to it. New writer coming. They've already shown the design. It took me about...
Another new writer?
Yeah. But it took me like 5 or 6 minutes of looking at him to really get what the gimmick was.
Right.
I'm gonna show you, like, because he's a bit weird, but I do get the aesthetic.
Is it a pig?
No, it's not a pig.
Is it a horse?
Have we ever had a horse rider?
No.
Well, what's his name from Five, I suppose, in a way.
Well, no, he wasn't a horse. He was a monster who was a centaur. He wasn't a Kamen Rider horse.
He's still a horse.
No, he was.
And he was a rider.
Why have we not had a belt put onto a horse and have the horse turn into a Kamen Rider?
I'm honestly not sure.
Alright, let's have a look at it. Oh!
Also, I think this is based on Ant-Man. I think that whole theory about they're based on Marvel characters is actually accurate.
Oh, that's a shame if that's true. It's an interesting design.
Yeah, but do you see what I mean about I didn't get it until I started thinking about it?
Kinda.
Because it's a rhinoceros beetle that's landed on his shoulder and is forming the shoulder and the head. And I didn't get the head was I thought the head was like a bit weird, and they're like, oh no, it's the face of a beetle seen from the side.
Yeah, see, I saw this. Someone had edited the head off and put Bay's head on. From
yes,
Hololive,
I saw that.
I was like,
yes,
what the fuck's going on? What is that? Is that like a not Kamen Rider body? I haven't seen this before. It's like, it is.
Bale, Bays.
I get it.
Yeah. Anyway, I would still recommend Revise. I'm interested to see what this dude does. Caught up in Digimon. Most recent excellent episode was excellent on Digimon Ghost Game, episode 20. Probably the most action heavy episode they've done this whole series. Really solid animation. Looked like they brought someone else in. Good drama. Another person gets killed by Digimon. And this in a way that's like even more tragic, because they didn't want to.
No.
Evaporated from burning on screen. Like, for the age group they're aiming at, I was just like, Jesus Christ. That gave me a nightmare when I was a kid. And it, like, some really good character development for the villains in this one, and for the hero Digimon. Really surprised we haven't had one ultimate form yet. Like, they're 20 episodes in, and they haven't even solved the big evil form thing they introduced a few episodes back. They haven't even, like, dealt with that yet, and I like the pacing it up, but it does say to me, like, they're probably not going to introduce a lot of extra characters in this.
Right. Oh. Is that good or bad, do you think?
Oh, I think it's focused. It's focused. It's like, okay, this is our cast. We're not going to pad it out with tons and tons of recurring characters. It does mean it's very episodic.
Did you say rip-roaring?
No, I did not.
I thought you said rip-roaring characters. I was like, what?
No, you are an idiot.
I am. I accept this.
So I would say, like, Digimon Ghost Game is well worth your time. And Osama Ranking, which is fine.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't cry. You have no evidence for this.
No, man, it was rough. It was rough to watch again.
Well, we got Morango's backstory in full. More, at least the start of it in full. Like, clearly there's more to come.
Yes.
The
beginning of her descent, I suppose.
Yes.
And Boss suggests that he was the one who made her even worse.
Yeah.
Which is
considering what he did in this one in A Fit of Rage.
But she didn't see it, and I think it's fair.
That is true, but we saw it.
Yes.
And it was, boy howdy, it's understandable, but oh boy howdy. It does. This is what I mean by it's like Game of Thrones, but good, because it's just like, look, actual moral ambiguity.
Definitely.
Not we're evil, but we're saying it's moral ambiguity.
And you remember when you were like, Boss is evil? It's like, is he? Or Miranda? You said Miranda is evil. I'm like, is she though? I don't know. I'll wait till the backstory comes out. It's like, but she is. But oh boy, you
understand? You're getting an idea why it doesn't make her. Also, it does look like she's about to be challenged by a couple of unexpected characters.
Yeah.
Kage
why you like this girl? It's like,
the one very large judgmental face staring at her from across the river.
You fucking bitch.
Yeah, that should be the first thing that she hears.
I think she'll probably say something like, "You got to protect Boji no matter what." I reckon to make it up to me as an apology, you've got to protect.
This is your
my
fucking
child.
fault. You sort it out.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
Kage, we got some good stuff with him, which wasn't emotional at all.
How the fuck do you beat Oaken?
I don't know. Also, that fight
so
scene was
hard.
amazing.
It was. Oaken just won the big four, pretty good, but not good enough.
Well, they had him beat, but fucking Despa.
Yeah,
the spirit of Despa.
He remembers the lesson Despa taught him of like, when you're at your limit, that's when you're at your best. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Despa, for God's sake, they'd beaten him.
Yep.
It was a really well done fight scene. Before that, we had the returning of what I'm starting to think of this series, Choryujin. Mitsumata.
No, stop hurting the snake. Stop it.
Not even like, oh no, violent. Just like, oh God, why?
Why are you eating the snake? Stop it. Stop eating the snake.
He's a good boy. He's like very polite.
Yeah.
Oh God, like really well animated in this episode. Like seriously.
I swear to God, every time an episode comes to an end, I'm like, no. I'm not like no in my brain. I'm audibly no, because I'm like it goes. It so dense, but it goes by so quick, and I'm like, no, I want more. Stop it.
And like the episode before that, episode 18, was also very solid. Oddly enough, I'd say probably the weakest of the show so far. But still very good. Like weak for this show is above, most.
Oh yeah.
But like it's weird because like basically the story has been a 4 or 5 episode fight scene, like. And I should be frustrated in that because of my proclivities. But
yeah, because it's usually the shonen trope, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, fucking
But they're like, okay, we're going to have a fight scene, and we're going to cut away. Oh, no. We're going to cut away to deep and meaningful character development and plot. Oh, yes! Also, we're going to cut back, and the fights are really good. Oh, yes! And now we're going to stab your favorite characters.
Oh, no. But oh, yes?
And then we're just going to leave them there because other shit is going on now, but you're going to see them bleeding in the background. Like, I was thinking, like, this show does not have a big body count in terms of name characters. Like, most characters who show up on screen, if it seems like they're going to die, they do get a way out.
Currently.
Yeah, but...
It does feel a little bit plot armory, but...
It's so well handled...
Yeah.
...that it doesn't matter, because you don't want any of them to go away, because there's more you can do with them.
Yeah. They're not throwaway characters, which you would assume they would be.
There is no need for a shock death in this series. They're not trying to kill off a character because it'll engage you. They're like, okay, we're going to have someone get their leg ripped off. Cool. We're also going to have developed him properly beforehand, so that hurts more than if he died.
Yes.
Because he is in agony. And the fact he's
running on a stump.
I know, he's running very fast on a stump.
Yeah. like the stump has healed, technically because of magic, but that's still, you see an amputee, they're not running on a stump without going, ow, ow.
No, he has a sack on, Andy.
Oh, that's true, he does have basically a very fancy sock on. Or not a fancy sock.
A woven sack.
A woven sack, yeah. Yeah, he's going to be off balance as well, because he's going to have to get used to, like, slumping to the left side, technically, isn't he?
Yeah, it's all for healing, Sama.
Yeah.
Who, I'm sorry, I do not believe he's not in love with her.
Yeah.
I can't, even if it's never brought up, I'm sorry, it's just like, he is totally in love with her. But, yeah, no, it's a very good show.
It's very good.
Right, yeah, and complex, and fun, and God, Wit, you're such a good studio.
Yeah.
The only other thing of note anime-wise is that they announced the Nier Automata anime.
No, that's not true. There was something else.
Ufotable might be doing it.
No, something else.
I mean, hang on, Andy. Ufotable might be doing Nier Automata, so like we can.
I mean, that is good.
That.
Oh
yeah.
Well, I am to a point, but then I did watch like last week. I watched the Fate Grand Order movie, and I went, the animation's not as good as it is in Demon Slayer, and I think Ufotable's put most of their money and hard work into Demon Slayer.
I think that might be the case. I still have to watch that movie.
I mean, the problem is the story's not that engaging because it is the end of a mobile game, and it relies more on hype than on the actual story.
Is it a Kamen Rider movie? In terms of like, hey, all those things you like, here they are.
Kinda.
Yeah. I know nothing about it or anything else, but I do know on the poster it's got characters from different arcs.
It doesn't even feature them that heavily, to be honest, which is kind of disappointing. A little bit. Yeah. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it, but yeah.
Yeah.
The Ufotable working on Nier Automata, that's good, but I'm like, are you going to put your best foot forward with that? Are you going to kind of slightly half-ass it because it's not Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer is a fucking moneymaker?
And it's an adaptation.
Yeah. No, the other thing I was mentioning was a trailer that you retweeted of a show based on Kamen Rider.
Oh, yes! Futotante.
Yeah.
Futo Detectives. The trailer came out. The trailer which tried to weirdly seem mysterious about what this subject was about.
Yeah, it didn't show any Kamen Rider, which was weird.
At the end of it, you just hear like the startup noise, the standby noise for the double driver, and just
is it the actors, the actual live action actors?
No.
It's not. Why are they not voicing their own characters?
Because those two kind of took the fuck off.
Oh.
And are very expensive. Like, I know Philip's actor, like he tried to come back to Kamen Rider at one point for when, like, he really, really wanted to. At least he said he did. And it's like, well, I also am booked, like, literally every working day for the next 3 years.
Damn your success.
Yeah. And Shotaro's actor is basically like... Shotaro's actor, you have to pin down to get him to stop coming back, but also he can't either because he's also working like crazy.
No. I thought the voices were off. I listened to the trailer. I was like, I don't think that's the same guys.
No, Shotaro's voice is much deeper.
That's what I thought. They're way deeper.
But I found it weird they didn't have like double in it because it's not like I know for a fact the manga features the writers. But yeah, we get to see Philip, Shotaro, Teryu, Akiko. The whole kit and caboodle are going to be there. The new character.
Do you think they're going to be in? Because I don't think all of them took off, did they?
I don't. Well, he's come back recently. Did you know?
What do you mean come back?
Axel just appeared in. I forgot to mention. Like Revice is doing a spin-off called Revice the Mystery, which is a murder mystery where they also bring back a bunch of old characters, including the Snake Orphanok.
Is it kind of like the X8 spin-off where he was in the digital world with Digital Genom and then a load of other random writers?
No, not some. Yeah, a bit actually, a bit like that. I like that.
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. But like Hiromi is in it, and his whole thing is he's in love with a woman in it, and is like the actor is just displaying that he can ham it up with the best of them. But Axel is like the secondary character in it.
Okay, so he could voice his own character, maybe.
It would be nice. Just like, listen, we don't know. Like, it could be like there's also like voice acting union versus everything else. It's cheaper for them to hire established anime actors or something like that. Like celebrity TV celebrity kind of stuff is not as common in Japan as it is here.
Okay.
Like to the point where it's like something like when Premiere did it, it was like really like notable. Like they got celebrity voice actors in, and even if they're writer things, like they have had careers afterwards, and like some of them have gone on to be pretty big. So I don't know, but I think it looks very good. The animation looks very, very solid. I just hope I don't remember what little I've read translated of the story to know if it's going to be good.
Fair play.
I know it introduces the other Fang forms. Fang Trigger and Fang Metal.
Okay.
And I think I read somewhere before I knew an anime was coming out that they're the like a story reason why they've never been used before. But yeah, no. that's it for me, really, as far as I know. I'm sure there's other things that I've forgotten, but that's it for me. What about you, Andy?
Well, I did the podcast that you did, the recording, the interview thing. That was the thing I did. Oh God! I finished watching Gunsword again. The ending is not very satisfying. I forgot.
It was of that era, I would say.
Yeah, like Van beats his enemy, walks off into the distance, and then you have a massive time skip, and then he just randomly, accidentally walks in on Wendy, who apparently was telling this whole story to somebody.
With a giant tortoise.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, the tortoise for some reason kept growing. Apparently, just recently, she says, which is kind of weird. But no, the end just feels like if you were gonna have this as a narrator, like Wendy was narrating this, why wouldn't you have set that up in like episode 1?
Because it's cool.
It just feels weird. It feels like a weird way to do it. Also, Van decides just to walk off into the distance and have a very unfulfilling life after he's fulfilled his vendetta again. Not the like if you're gonna have a revenge story, usually you have the character seeking revenge die, like Ray. And I still not entirely sure what the comrade's plan was, even after watching the show. He was going to use technology to warp everybody's mind, and yet also it had the ability to warp time and space, so he could have brought back Van's wife. Like, I'm not sure I'm not sure I believed it, because at that point, if it could do all that stuff, maybe they should have won. Right?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I remember coming away from that thinking, like, I enjoyed that a lot, but it had the 2000 syndrome of we either finished ahead of whatever we were doing, or we just didn't think of a good ending. Which is, to me, very common at the time.
Yeah, because I feel like if you wanted to go down the route of the comrade was, or the claw was able to manipulate people into doing things and they didn't know what they were doing, and it was going to be revealed at the end what the claw was really after, and he was going to be like, haha, I tricked you all, this is what this plan was actually going to do. And that would have been something. But no, even then, like at the end, even though his plans all failed and been broken apart, he says, "Oh, Van, we can be good friends, you and I, can't we? We can start this plan again. Don't matter." And then Van cuts him in half, seemingly like he's still. He even says, "Van, I like you," or "Van, I love you," depending on if it's the dub or the sub. And Van just kills him. It's like it didn't feel satisfying. It's weird because, like you said, I like the show. It's just the ending does not hit a landing very well. For what it built up to. Still fun show. It just has, like you say, a flippy ending. Yeah. I need to go back to Gawa Gaiga now and keep on watching that in my Blu-ray form, so we can do a podcast on that. And got Elden Ring. I've been playing Elden Ring for the past few days. It is
the
a open
greatest
world
game ever made. I think it's fantastic and it's amazing, and I won't be besmirched.
It's very good. It's very good.
Didn't I just say that?
I wasn't listening. It is a more refined combat style from Dark Souls 3. They've added in a lot of stuff. Like the aspect of it being an open world, I still personally could do without it being an open world. But there is stuff going in on the world, at least there's more going on than I felt Skyrim ever had and stuff like that. But I'd still prefer it to not be like that myself. You know, I don't need the giant open spaces that you spend hours and hours looking around for secrets, because the place is packed full of stuff. It's really like if you think there's a secret nook or cranny you can go to, there's probably something there. So unfortunately, it's like it's going to take a long time to go through the game, but also fortunately, because it is fun. I was lied to, though. I was told that my level up person I was not able to get until after I beat a quite hard boss. So I went into a very hard boss without leveling up my weapons or leveling up my character. And I was there for a few hours. So I started at 11 o'clock and I finished at about 4. Because I refused to summon somebody because I'm not no wuss. Do it on my own, baby. Hell yeah. But no, it's enjoyable. It's hard to say how it's going to pan out by the end, because I have no idea how long the game is or how long it'll take me to finish it, but it's goo. It's fun. And I think that's all of note. Yeah, I think that's all of note. Yeah. Apart from Summer ranking, which Mikey said, which we've already covered.
Yeah.
I think that'll have to do us for this week. We do have some questions which we can take.
Before we go on, I have to read something to you.
Oh, read.
This just popped up on my Twitter as I glanced over at my second screen.
Is it someone asking you why you hate Elden Ring?
I hate you. Does that help? Robert Pattinson on Tifa versus Eris. This is how every guy figures out what love is.
Go on.
Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz are currently on a promotional circuit for the new movie which they star, The Batman, which is why they ended up in a recent episode of the French program Click, being interviewed by Maloude Achour. How the conversation got around to Final Fantasy VII we're not sure, but he basically started by saying, "I was in love with Eris."
Okay.
No, hang on. Patterson says, confirming his position in Eris argument. And Tifa. Everyone wants to have both. It's the two sides. It's the two options girls you can have. When Kravitz admits she didn't know what Final Fantasy was, Patterson goes into full explaining mode. It's the best. It's a love triangle where Eris or Eris, depending on which version of the game you have, it's sometimes mistranslated. She's like a really kind girl who her superpower is to heal everyone and make the world a better place. Poor women, Kravitz jokes. We have to heal everyone. It's exhausting. This is where he pisses me off. Patterson carries on. One, I just like the idea that this fairly bland human being has now just gone into like, oh my god, you need to talk about this game from 1997, it was amazing, oh my god, blah blah blah. Just like, let me introduce you to a man who's playing The Witcher and really just wishes he was home playing World of Warcraft
and painting Warhammer figures.
Yes, and just building his PCs, god damn it. Patterson carries on. And then Tifa's like this sexy little thing who's a thief and stuff. She wears short skirt and you're like, I can't decide. And then Eris dies, and then Eris, right at her peak, gets killed. This is how every guy figures out what love is. The fact you just broke Tifa Lockhart down to sexy little thing who's a thief and stuff in a short skirt means you don't have a fucking soul.
Did he get confused with her and Yuffie?
She's an eco-terrorist, and she's not a very good one because she is a fantastic character and sexy little thing. One, there ain't nothing little about Tifa.
She's sexy though.
She is very sexy.
She's the one you pick.
Yes.
Who picks Eris? Like Eris is a good friend.
Also, the game picks her. The fucking game picks her. Ugh. Either that... he's not done. Either the one that gonna heal everything or the one in the short skirt. Those are your options. Oh my god. There's the two options. That's the problem with the world.
Is that the problem? Like,
you go to fucking hell. You have completely misrepresented Tifa Lockhart to this person who has no idea what you're talking about.
I'd also say, like, what a terrible choice. Tifa or Eris. Oh, yep. No.
Every woman you meet is a Tifa or an Eris.
That's not true.
She's Eris and Eris.
Maybe Cloud could have got with Scarlet. Maybe he'd be into that. I don't know. He likes the Dommy Mommy effect.
I mean, there is a bit of it, let's be honest.
Well, do you remember that guy she had the feet on top of? Yeah. And then he died because he stayed in the room and exploded. Yeah.
She's not a caring person.
She's a Dommy, though. People like that, apparently.
I mean... Yeah. It's really hard to argue against Scarlet. But
there's just Tifa supremacy, though. It's just Tifa supremacy. Tifa's so good that she was shown in the Italian Parliament having sex with someone.
Yeah.
Aerith had that? Don't think so.
No. Do you know why? Because it's Tifa.
Yep.
And the fan art that followed of her just being humongously embarrassed just made her more endearing.
It did, yeah.
So
Robert it's nice that he showed some humanity, though. That was nice.
Yes,
he actually
it's nice that we have finally proven that somehow Robert Pattinson does have an emotion, and it is nerd.
I would not have been able to dub him or peg him as a person who would have played Final Fantasy. It would never have occurred to me that he would have done that. He doesn't look the kind. Right? Is that fair? I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But yes, you said you read questions. I don't have any before you ask.
Oh, okay. We've got some messages from Christoph Carlson. He says, have you felt that a figure was a work of art? Because the detail on the Super 7 Muckman, that's a Turtles figure, which I'm sure you already knew, Mikey, is fucking incredible. And he shows the picture of Muckman. Have you seen Muckman?
I haven't seen the Super 7 one.
I'll put it over, and then you can answer the question. Boop. There it is. That's Muckman. It is a very well done figure.
Wow,
neat.
That looks really well done.
To me, it actually looks more like Toxie from Toxic Crusaders, but I was much more into Toxic Crusaders than I was Turtles by the end of everything. So, the question, Mikey. Have you ever felt a figure's a work of art?
Yeah.
What? Which
what
one?
makes it a work of art, I think, would vary depending on the figure.
The question is, have you ever felt a figure was a work of art? So I suppose we could. The question is, which figure is a work of art for you that you have or have had?
I'm trying to think of one in specific.
You cannot say a Gundam kit that you've made.
No, I wasn't going to. Don't worry.
It's a work of art. It's fantastic.
I was going to say the Flame Toys Nova Prime that I made. I think. Okay, so there's flaws to them, but I think the double figure arts.
The new ones or the old
ones?
No,
the old ones. I haven't really handled the new ones. I think at the time, certainly, they hit an artistic level of really working to capture the idea of the show model, and they were really the first ones to really try it, and which means they were a bit more of an art piece at the time, I think.
And they didn't explode either, like some of the newer figure arts.
Although Fang Joker did draw blood.
Yeah, it broke you, not the other way around. That's fine. Yeah.
Also, the SICs for that, I think, in terms of aesthetics, were certainly fantastic. I love the designs of them. They were art pieces in that you didn't touch them.
I was going to say, they didn't have the quality control because they would die. Did you say the double ones or the O's ones? Because I think the O's ones were a little bit cooler.
I like the O's. Well, it's O's. But I think for the artistic sense, I think the double ones.
All right.
For being better figures from a show I care more about, definitely those ones. But I think in the Western action figures, the play arts back in the day, the big play arts figures, I think as art pieces worked far better than they were as toys. And what I mean is, like, I know that he's saying, like, this muck, it's a work of art and it looks really posable and everything else. But, like, they were ones where creative decisions came first. Even at the cost of their ability to be an action figure. Monster Arts, I think, really hit that as well.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Oddly enough, a lot of the stuff from Japan is usually a little bit more...
Yeah, but just the way it aims. Like,
it's more like the Japanese market's always aimed at a nerd, adult, weeb market than the Americas have, generally speaking.
Would I say there's any, like, Transformers, excluding stuff like, we'll say, Flame Toys or something like that. Any Transformers figures I would describe as a work of art? I'm trying to think. I think probably in terms of the engineering for some.
I guess,
Not necessarily the aesthetics of any of the main line, anyway.
Yeah, it's hard with Transformers, isn't it? Because they're nice, but especially more recent ones, they never really stand out as an art piece because it still looks like a child's toy in a lot of ways. While the Super 7, like the image of the Super 7, you look at that and it's like, oh, it looks like a really fancy statue. It's like, no, it's not a statue, it's a posable figure as well. It's like, oh, wow, look at all the detail and the paint on it, damn.
But yeah, no, I think I've definitely encountered, I'll be honest, there's some stuff I've forgotten, whatever, but I think it's one of those things, like, I've definitely encountered them at times. But what about you?
I'm not sure. Lego's usually quite a decent art project.
No, it doesn't count. If model kits don't count, Lego doesn't count.
Why doesn't that count?
Because the same rules.
No. The reason I didn't count in model kits was because, like, the idea of you painting it. That's why I was like, no. If you wanted to say a model kit, but not because, I painted it, so it's really cool.
Well, you didn't specify that, did you?
No, do you want to put in a model kit then?
No, because I'm spiting you.
Well, that's what I do. I'd say Lego kits generally, because there's that stupid bonsai tree. And they use their frogs, like pink frogs and purple frogs, to make up the leaves. That's usually quite interesting, and they can do some quite interesting stuff with not the mock builds. I won't class mock Lego builds as like, I've got £5 billion and I've built this crazy Lego model. I won't count them because they're obviously works of art because someone's invested stupid amounts of money into something that's not doable. But you actually, Christoph gives some examples as well, because I'll move on and I'll say, and I was able to find the same set on. I think these have been placed in the wrong way, as it just goes. And I was able to find the same set on Amazon for cheaper now, as all the camp stuff are making for world domination. Grab it if you can, Mikey. It's referring to Lego sets, Jurassic World Lego sets. I think I think you might have missed something, Christoph, because it seems like there's a bit of a conversation that hasn't came through for some reason. He did show a Jurassic World one, which had a skeleton dinosaur.
I saw that.
A Bumpy, maybe. That seems like a set that you should have. A man with an egg.
Yeah, no, I know the skeleton one. I don't remember. I'm sure Bumpy had one, but I don't.
No, I mean Bumpy's in the set. There's a little. It looks like a Bumpy at least. No, maybe it's not Bumpy. It's a little Triceratops or Biceratops. I can't tell if it has 3 horns or not. There was that, and some Lego do go on sale sometimes. It's hard, not a lot, and you have to be quick on them usually. Mostly stuff no one wants or that needs to make way for new stuff. That's true. And for the viewer's pleasure, he's put the skeleton T-Rex against the Mecha Dinosaur T-Rex as well. So that was from Christoph, and we also have a message from Tentamon4. Right. Keep forgetting that Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is technically not G1, even if its gimmick was make fusion monsters not shit. I'll take your word for that. Mikey probably knows more on that than I do. Here's a video whose opening gag shows how shit they were. And then there's a link. The rest is a breakdown on monster archetypes based on Super Sentai. Pretty note. Also, Junoichi was a badass in the manga. Reread it. I hope that makes sense to you, Mikey, as you're the more Yu-Gi-Oh! Expert.
Oh, Joey.
Okay. Is that what he was called?
That's his Japanese name.
Nah, I'd always call him Joey. If
he looks more like a Joey.
Yeah, he really does. If I ever meet anyone called Junoichi, I'll just call him Joey. No, that's not my name. Shut up, Joey. Shut your face. And you said you didn't have any questions then, Mikey?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then, Mr. Mikey, we're done for this week. Thank you, everybody, for coming on by. We'll be back next week for more Transformers stuff, depending on... I mean, we'll be back next month, or next week, I should say. We'll just the depending will be how much Transformers news there'll be, more so than anything else. But thank you, Mikey, for coming and talking with me today.
Yay.
Yay. And, we'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Flee.
You are now leaving